Oh me, oh my, ladies and gentlemen. It's about 2:30 right now on the East Coast, and all the indexes are in the red, especially the Russell. The Russell's down over 1% right now as the Nasdaq's down 0.6. Same with the S&P as the Dow is down about 0.5%, and the VIX, the mighty old VIX, is up over 4%, breaking back over 20 points, guys. So in this video, we're going to break down the markets. We're going to talk about some stocks, and we're going to go over some earnings from this morning that I forgot to talk about in the last video. We're going to go over Pepsi, AbbVie, Philip Morris, and a couple of other ones if we have time. So if you guys find value, hit that like button, subscribe, get up to 15 stocks from Moomoo and up to 12 stocks from Webull. It's free money, guys, and it also helps out the channel. Linked right down below and pinned in the comment section. And with that being said, let's dive right into the video. So we've sold off all day. I mean, the S&P 500 here, looking at SPY, was at 414, 415 in the pre-market, and that's been a resistance for a couple days, like we talked about in my last video. And we saw a complete cliff dive, not only in the morning, but here at about noon on the East Coast, 12:30, where SPY ran up to 412. It tried breaking out above 412, but then we ended up getting rejected all the way down to 409. Tried to spike up again to 410, failed. Now we're at $408, which you guys know, I've said this time and time again, 408 is a very big level of support. If I pull this up, you guys can see 408's held the past couple of days, pretty much all of February, and that was resistance from the end of January. Now that we're, selling off aggressively today, maybe this happens into tomorrow. We'll see. This is a point we have to watch, 408, because if 408 breaks, we're probably going to fill the gap down to 400. Then if that were to break, well, that's bad news bulls, right? Not bad news bears, bad news bulls. That's not going to be good if $400 breaks here on SPY. And Triple Q, I mean, look at this. If I pull the intraday up, it's not as bad as the Russell. The Russell's getting hit today pretty hard. But still, this thing's been selling off all day. We've had mini relief rallies. We've tried to break out on the intraday multiple times, and we failed to do so pretty much every time. I mean, yes, every single time, guys. As you can see here in the middle of, the day, right around 12:30, we ran a 306, got rejected, dumped right back to 303, and now we're starting to fall under 303. We're actually in the mid 302s as I'm making this video, guys, which you can see here on the 20-day chart. Now we're creeping under not only the 50 SMA, but also the 180 SMA, and we're about to take out 302, which is a big support from the month of February here, the past 10 days or so. And if that were to break, we have a wide open gap down to 290. So the markets, I'm not saying we're collapsing 100% for sure quite yet, but they're starting to slip. The markets are starting to slip. And, if this 290 level breaks on Triple Q, if SPY breaks 400, brace yourselves for impact. That's all I got to say. And, of course, we have the VIX creeping up over 20, which you can see the VIX has not been over 20 in about 10 days. So it's not like it's been like years or months or anything. But 20 is a big spot. We can see last time we hit 20 in January, we got hit. At that point, the VIX went right back down to the teens. So if we get a sustainable rip on the VIX above 20 points to 22 points, that's going to be a bit alarming. We have oil. Let's pull oil up today. This is starting to, hover right around the mid-70s. What is it? It's down 1% today. It's trying to break out, in other words, right? Oil in just the past 3 days is up from 72 a barrel to 78 a barrel. That is an 8% move. And we have you could argue, an inverse head and shoulders here. I mean, it's not really arguable. You can see it pretty clearly. We have the left shoulder right here. We got the head right here. Let me show you guys that. You guys see that? Boom. And then we got the right shoulder right there. So inverse head and shoulders on oil. This looks pretty bullish in the very, very short term if we're just looking here at the 20-day chart. And, of course, silver and gold, those are getting slaughtered right now. Silver's not looking good, guys. It was trying to break out in the mid-20s, but now it's starting to fall, obviously to the low 20s, which is good if you're buying physical silver, of course. I'm not buying silver right now personally, or gold for that matter. I'm just holding on to my metals, but silver, if it comes under 20, I'd consider actually buying some silver. I'm more of a gold guy, but I would consider adding some silver to the collection here. But the fact that, it failed at 25, not the best sign for silver, especially if you're a bull on silver. You guys can see the downwards channel is clearly still holding here, and I believe on gold it is as well. Pretty much gold is also in that same downwards channel. You guys see that. So that's a little bit alarming. I'm not going to lie, but it's not the end of the world. Of course, I'm looking at gold, the metals here, not as a short-term trade. Sure, you could trade it via SLV, GLD like we've talked about here on the channel, but I'm looking to buy these metals. I hold, gold and just hold for the long term. And honestly, I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to, coins, guys. I like collecting coins. Call me crazy, but I like gold and I like collecting it. It's not really an investment, I would say. It's a hedge against inflation, but it's more so kind of a glorified savings account, if you will, or just it's a collection, right? It's the same thing as that Jalen Hurts poster that's sitting right there that's signed. I bought for $200, right? And I'm gonna be holding that for the long term. You could argue it's a glorified savings account. If it doesn't lose value, sure. If Hurts blows it at the Super Bowl, it might go down in value, but it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Let's hope the Eagles win, guys. We shall see. But it's the same thing. I like collecting certain things, gold, silver, well, not silver, but gold being one of them, silver potentially here if it comes under 20, and sports memorabilia, things that I think will hold value, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. So let's just dive into these earnings. Pepsi reported this morning, which it's up a little bit right now, up 0.7%. Let me see exactly what they ended up doing. $1.67 in adjusted EPS versus the $1.65 estimate that beat, and revenue also beat. $28 billion versus $26.84 billion. Some nice double beat. Looks like organic revenue, or rather they see 2023 organic revenue up 6%. Core EPS, they see 2023 of $7.20. It looks like annualized, they raised their annualized dividend by 10%. Look at that. Let's go, baby. Even though I'm not a Pepsi shareholder right now, I used to be for that dividend. That dividend was awesome. The fact that they're raising it by 10%, that's awesome. Kudos to all the dividend holders out there. That's great. $5.06 a share. Can't go wrong with that. Let's see here. Adjusted EPS for 2023, $7.20 versus the $7.27 estimate. That's not a big deal. The big thing is that they hiked that dividend. That is awesome. Yeah, that's great. This is one that I think is overvalued personally as a stock for the long term. But if, it all depends on your situation. If you're holding this and you're reaping, or you're collecting the dividends, by all means, I would continue to hold it. But for me, at my stage in life, I'm not looking for dividend income at this point. I've talked about this on the channel. We're not going to get into that in this video, but overall, the chart looks good as a short-term trade. Looking at Pepsi here as it's holding this channel, it's looking pretty decent. We also had AbbVie. Let me pull that up. AbbVie reported, and look at that. AbbVie is up 3% right now, and one thing worth mentioning is right off the bat to be cautious, or to make you guys be cautious, and of course I'm looking at this as well. We have a head and shoulders on AbbVie, so keep that in mind. We're not fully breaking out. Just because it's up 3%, it doesn't mean that it's going to the moon for sure at this point, because we're still under that neckline at 155. So let's see what they ended up doing. Adjusted EPS of 360 versus 356. That beat. Revenue missed, $15.12 billion versus $15.31. So that missed. It looks like here adjusted EPS up 17% year over year. That's not too bad. They see 2023 adjusted EPS of 1070 to 1110 versus the 1173 estimated. That's pretty, it's a little bit under the estimate, but not the end of the world. Looks like AbbVie's $200 billion monopoly won't sink the stock. That's a headline from the Wall Street Journal. Pretty good headline there. I like that. I'd click on that article if I was on the Wall Street Journal. Let's see. Anything else? I'm not seeing anything, but it looks like the stock's moving. But like I said, head and shoulders is clear as day. The neckline, where we're at right now, is clear as day. This could be resistance. You got to be mindful of that. But if it breaks 156, let's say, all right, maybe AbbVie at that point could start to turn for the better. Let's do maybe one or two more here. Let's look at Toyota. Maybe we'll do Philip Morris and Duke in the next video, guys. So make sure to subscribe for that next video, which is coming out later tonight. We have other earnings. I believe PayPal's after the bell today, which PayPal is a company that I own that I'm looking at, to maybe buy more of. We'll see. So that's a big one that I'm going to be watching. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit that like button as well. If you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. Toyota reported this morning as well. And what we're noticing right off the bat is an ascending triangle. At least that's what I'm seeing, right? We have higher lows that have been being made since the beginning of October, but at the same time, since the end of November, we've been failing at 150. So Toyota's got to break 150, looking at the chart, which right now, well, it's not doing that. It's at 145, up over 1% on the day, but we're not breaking that 150 level. So I'm going to set my alert at 150. Let's see what they ended up doing, guys. They ended up doing and I actually have a Toyota, so shout out to Toyota. I really like their cars. I was telling my fiance the other day, I'm like, I don't know, this is probably an awful idea, but I was like, Priuses. Should I get a Prius, guys? What do you think about that? She kind of laughed at me, and she's like, I don't like the Prius. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Prius, RAV4. Anyway, we're not going to get into that in this video. But I really like Toyota. I mean, they're great cars. They last. I mean, I've had my Toyota for like 3-4 years now. I've literally had no problems, knock on wood. Sure, the maintenance, tires, brakes. Once I put brakes in it, sure, but that's regular stuff, right? But they're great cars. Anyway, looks like they ended up doing EPS of 133 or 38. What the heck is that? I mean, geez, I can't even read today. It looks like, let's just talk sales. Sales grew 14% year over year, or rather, they expect full year 23 sales to grow 14 to 15%. Basic EPS of 172. Is that yuan? Or no, it's not yuan. What currency is that, guys? Whatever. I forget what it's called. But it looks like in dollars they did $3.66 EPS. So overall, guys, what I'm looking at is not to invest in Toyota long term, but what I'm looking at is to trade it. And if it breaks 150, we have that triangle play out. There could be a lot more upside. We're talking a move to 160, maybe even higher, mid 160s. These are the gaps that could end up filling. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, of course, hit that like button, subscribe, get up to 15 stocks from Moomoo and up to 12 stocks from Webull. Feel free to check out my Patreon as well if you want to be a part of the portfolio I'm building, the community. If you want to see all the charts throughout the day, what I'm doing, my ideas, if you want access to me throughout the day, all of that is on Patreon, link down below. And again, all the free stocks are linked down below as well. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.